What's up, everybody? I'm back for another update. I want to share the good, the bad, and the ugly about developing a market making algo in the crypto markets, specifically against decentralized exchanges or DEXs, and specifically also in the perpetual future space. I haven't played around with spot yet at all, but I'm currently working on developing a market making algo for the perpetual futures market. So I finally have a kind of version 1.0 out there and running of an unhedged market maker. My previous version that I'm also working on a hedged version where I'm placing trades and it's going to a different exchange to offset the risk and try to stay delta neutral. But I also want to develop a strategy that just stays on the exchange and attempts to manage risk on a single exchange without hedging. And so I've got a first version out there and running on Paradex right now, trading a very, very small account. As you can see, I've put $20 in this account here that's trading Ripple. And then I've got another one trading Starknet token. And so what I wanted to do for kind of my base version is just have it out there and just really placing as many trades as it possibly can without really doing any sort of optimization or putting any sort of smarts in there. I just want to really see if the functionality that I have to connect to the exchange, to get the orders, to modify the orders, and to get the order events and the fill events and all this stuff, basically the plumbing and the messaging back and forth with the exchange to make sure that's just working okay. And so the way I went about doing this is I basically set up this market maker for Ripple, and I just wanted to basically be quoting a very tight spread and setting my order expirations to be somewhat of a long amount. So my orders are kind of sitting out there for a while before I refresh my prices. And what I figured this would allow me to do, so I was basically quoting a 5 basis point spread, which is pretty tight on Ripple. So I figured I'd probably get a lot of fills, and sure enough, I did. I probably got about 300 fills overnight, and on a $20 account, I don't know, it traded like $10,000 worth of volume over a 20 or not maybe a 12-hour period. So I got exactly what I wanted. I got to exercise the algo. I got to make sure things were running as expected and kind of working out the bugs. And I did find some for sure and have been making some modifications. So as I've done that, I've kind of tightened up the rules a bit. And basically, what I want to start focusing now on is okay, now that it seems like the plumbing is working, how do I go about kind of tuning this thing and making it adjust to market conditions a bit so it just doesn't get run over? So basically, what I saw overnight is I think I started with a $20 account. By the morning, I was down to like $15. So it was a pretty much a steady decline down. It wasn't making any money, just quoting kind of this static 5 basis point spread. Now I do have it quoting basically 3 levels on each side, and as it kind of loads up on inventory on one side, it will stop quoting the other side. But you can see here that kind of the inside bid and ask that it's quoting, it's going to lean on trying to, exit its inventory here. So I have this set up where I can kind of set the number of levels dynamically. So if I had more money in this account, I could, potentially quote, say 10 levels on each side. And then here we're tracking the fills as they come in. And so we can see the timestamp, the price, and the size that it was executed at. And then we hear, so not all these UI elements are hooked up yet. Strategy is showing a stopped, for example. It's obviously running right now. But I think what I'll do is I'll put together another video that kind of just outlines some of this terminology that I am using here, so that if you're not familiar with automated trading or market making specifically, what some of these things that I'm talking about, and specifically what am I trying to do with some of these strategies here. So the where it's at, kind of where things are at right now. I widen the spread. So basically, instead of quoting a 5 basis point spread, just letting the thing trade as much as it wants, I'm starting to add some more smarts to it, starting to quote wider spreads. So for Ripple, for example, I can't set the spreads too wide because the strategy needs to be able to trade. What I don't want to happen is I don't want to get picked off, um, and then the market runs away from me. So I set the uh, Ripple to like an 8 basis point kind of static default spread. It's going to like widen that spread if volatility starts picking up. And then, like I mentioned, it's going to kind of skew the quotes one way or another based on how much inventory I'm holding. So, say I'm accumulating short inventory here, and say my asks are getting lifted, it's going to lean into the bids a bit harder to try to get the inventory back, back closer to zero. And then for Starknet, for example, now actually let's go take a look at Paradex here so we can kind of see what's going on the screen here. So this is Starknet. Now we can go back and forth here so we can see the quotes here. They're getting refreshed periodically with a new price and new size as kind of the fair value of the contract changes. And we'll see these orders over here on Paradex's UI get updated as well as the fair value of the contract changes. So these little triangles are my orders here. Now, the reason I chose Starknet as kind of the second contract to play around with is because what I was seeing was the default kind of spreads that people are, or market makers, or even just retail traders are quoting, was a bit wider than Ripple. And so there's potential, if the spreads are wider, you have more opportunity to make money there because you're not having to rely on, like, say, a 5 basis point buy and sell in order to get to make your money. So from what I was seeing here, right now it's showing zero, even though it's not. But 7 basis points. This was going as high as 30 basis points. Um, so what I did is I set a 30 basis point spread on my algo, um, and I'm letting it run with that. So we'll see what happens here. Now, the other interesting thing about Starknet is that the tick size is actually rather large. It's only going out to 4 decimal places on this, whereas with Ripple, we've got 5 significant digits. So we've got it's like a $2, and then there's 4 decimal places after that. Um, so just given the fact that the tick size is smaller, the spread by default has to be larger for Starknet versus Ripple. So that's another potential opportunity there. So, but this is an issue that I am seeing now with the strategy. So everything is working great, as far as the trades getting placed and modified and canceled and all that stuff. But what I am seeing occasionally is that I will just get a few levels taken out in very quick succession, and I don't want that. If like my ask gets lifted, what's happening right now is I'm immediately throwing a new ask down at that for that level, And usually it's right around the price where it just got lifted. And what I see sometimes is I'll get, a number of executions happen within a pretty close price point. And so what I want to do is, if I get a trade that's hit, I want to kind of cool down a little bit before I requote that level. And so I'm working on putting some more smarts in there. So we can see here at like 928.38. We had 3 trades here within very, very quick time period, and pretty decent size too. And this is what I don't want to happen. I don't want like some informed trader see my order sitting out there and be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna hit it, and then it immediately gets refreshed and they hit that, and then they hit that, and then the market runs away, and and I'm left holding the bag there. So basically, what I want to happen in this situation, this order gets hit. I don't want to requote like immediately. I'm going to back off a little bit, and then I'll requote again. If that gets hit, then I'm going to back off even further before I requote. So that's the change I'm working on right now. And what I'm hoping is that I'm not going to get stuck with these adverse fills. And so we see here there's another 3 orders happen very quickly here for pretty decent size, and this is what I'm trying to avoid happening. So anyway, that's kind of where things are at now. I am going to just basically let this run again over the next 24 or 12 hours or so, actually. Just kind of keep my eye on how things are performing, any error messages in the log files. And if things are looking good, I'm going to continue making these refinements, pushing them out there, monitoring them, and over time, I will slowly increase the position size and the capital that these strategies are trading. But thankfully, Paradex has lowered their minimum trade size from $50 down to $10, which helps out a lot because uh, I'd like to quote a number of different levels here. And the other thing too is the maximum position size. So like the maximum position size that the strategy will hold altogether. So if my minimum order size is $50, and I want to hold like I don't know how many dollars worth of assets, $20 account wouldn't have cut it previously in order for testing. And the only way to test this really is in production. That's the other thing that kind of sucks, is like testnet for all these exchanges sucks. You can only test your API calls basically, but you're not going to test how your strategy is going to do in a testnet environment, because it's totally unrealistic as far as market prices go. So the only way to test your strategy is to do it in production, and to do it with just as small of an order size as you can before you actually roll it out. So the good thing is, though, about these exchanges is that you can create a sub account off of your main account, fund that sub account, so you're not like endangering your main trading account. So you can kind of have your own little sandbox within your main account to play around with your strategy. So anyway, I'd love to hear about what you guys are working on. If you have any questions, feel free to either drop a comment here, hit me up on X or Telegram, and I'll try to respond when I'm available. And like I said, I'll work on another video here. I've got a couple of videos in works actually, so I'll work on another one where I'll talk about some of the terminology here that I'm using, and how it applies to the trading strategies. And then also I've got another one in the works for the different tools that I'm using for development. So anyways, I hope you guys are having an awesome week, and I will see you soon. Later. Bye.